You pick up your phone. You didn't decide to. Your hand just did it. There was no notification, no sound, no reason at all. But the real answer is far stranger than boredom or habit. Your thumb just repeated a motion that kept your ancestors alive for 300,000 years. Think about the last time you checked your phone for no reason. Nothing had buzzed. Nothing had changed. You just felt a pull, checked, found nothing new, and put it back down. Maybe you did it again, 10 minutes later. Why does an empty screen feel worth checking? Your brain didn't evolve to browse, it evolved to scan. For most of human history, survival depended on constant environmental monitoring. A rustle in the grass, a shift in wind, a shadow crossing the wrong way. Missing a threat could mean death. Missing an opportunity, a piece of fruit, a trail of animal tracks could mean starvation. So your brain built a habit loop around checking, not finding, checking. The neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz spent decades studying dopamine in the brain, and his research uncovered something that surprised everyone. Dopamine doesn't spike when you get a reward. It spikes when you don't know if you're going to get one. The uncertainty itself is the trigger. Your brain releases its most motivating chemical not for the banana, but for the possibility of the banana. Sit with that for a second. The chemical that drives you isn't pleasure, it's maybe. This is exactly the mechanism B.F. Skinner uncovered with pigeons in the 1950s. He built a box with a lever. Sometimes it dropped food, sometimes it didn't. And the pigeons that got food unpredictably pressed that lever far more obsessively than the pigeons who got food every single time. A guaranteed reward gets checked occasionally. A maybe reward gets checked constantly. Skinner called it a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. Your phone is that lever. Every unlock is a press. Here's where it gets stranger. This isn't a flaw. It's a feature that once kept your ancestors fed. Foraging humans didn't return to the same bush every day because it always had berries. They returned because it sometimes had berries. Researchers who study foraging behavior, including the information foraging models built by Peter Paroli and Stuart Card, found that humans and animals allocate their attention almost exactly like a forager, deciding whether to keep digging in one patch or move to another. Your brain is running that same ancient math on your phone right now. Scroll again or stop. Keep digging or walk away. It doesn't know the difference between a berry patch and an Instagram feed. Your phone didn't invent this loop. It just built a perfect replica of the exact conditions your brain was designed to chase. Consider the notification badge. That small red circle with a number inside it. Why does it feel almost physically uncomfortable to leave unopened? Your ancestors didn't have red circles, but they had something functionally identical: an unresolved sound in the underbrush, an unfinished scan of the horizon. Your brain treats an unchecked notification the same way it once treated an unexplained rustle nearby. Something changed. You don't yet know what. That gap between noticing and knowing is unbearable to the ancient parts of your mind. Now picture the modern mirror of all this. You're in a meeting, or at dinner, or lying in bed at midnight. There is no tiger, there is no missing berry patch. There's only a small glass rectangle sitting face down on the table, and some part of your brain is still scanning for the rustle in the grass. You're not weak for reaching for it. You are running software that was optimized for a world that no longer exists. There is a reason certain apps feel harder to put down than others. The ones that dominate your attention are the ones that most precisely mimic unpredictable foraging. A feed that refreshes with new, uncertain content every time functions almost exactly like Skinner's lever. You don't know what you'll find. That not knowing is the entire hook. Evolutionary psychologists studying vigilance behavior have noted something else worth sitting with. Ancient scanning behavior wasn't constant because our ancestors were anxious. It was constant because scanning was cheap and missing a threat was expensive. A brain that checked too often wasted a little energy. A brain that checked too little sometimes didn't survive the week. So natural selection built you to err on the side of checking, compulsively, automatically, even when, statistically, there's almost never anything there. That's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Your phone checking habit isn't a modern failure of discipline. It is a perfectly calibrated survival mechanism running exactly as designed, just aimed at the wrong target. So what do you do with a brain built for berry bushes now that it lives inside a feed? You can't switch off the mechanism. It's older than language, older than agriculture, older than fire. But you can change what it's scanning. Some researchers studying attention habit formation point to a simple lever of your own: friction. Every unpredictable reward loop weakens the moment checking becomes slightly harder. Moving an app off the home screen, turning a screen to grayscale, leaving the phone in another room during dinner. None of these fight your evolutionary wiring. They just make the ancient forger take one extra step before checking the bush. And maybe that's the real twist here. You always assumed the pull to check your phone was a personal weakness, something to be embarrassed about, something willpower should have already solved. But willpower was never built to fight 300,000 years of finely tuned survival instinct. You weren't failing a modern test. You were succeeding at an ancient one, just in the wrong arena. Tonight, your phone will sit there, screen dark, saying nothing. And at some point, without deciding to, your hand will reach for it anyway. When it does, you won't be checking a notification. You'll be checking the grass for movement, the way your ancestors did every single day of their lives, just to make it to tomorrow.